Hello, dear ones. Welcome to your July 2024 forecast. I'm really excited about this month. We have a lot of great energy. We have transits that mostly are going to really bring in this combination of us being really creative and working with our sharp intellect, being able to persevere on longer projects and things that are going to really affect your financial wealth. And also this ability to really connect with our intuition, our hearts, and come home to family and to be empathetic. And if you're an empath, you're going to also want to watch this, because I will give you all the remedies that you will need, because our intuition, our empathic ability is going to really be heightened this month. Hi, I'm Prema, and welcome to Chart Your Path. I am so glad that you are here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I appreciate if you do and share this around. And if you're already a subscriber, thanks so much for being here. If you want to know what your Vedic Astrology ascendant or moon sign is, which will be super helpful for the forecast, the link to my chart calculator is in the description, as well as the link to the Sacred Wealth Code quiz, where you could get one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes. As we start July, Saturn has just gone retrograde on the 30th. It'll be retrograde until mid-November. This happens every year. Retrograde Saturn is for a few months. And Saturn, let's remember, in the Sacred Wealth Code archetype system, is our great organizer and our great administrator. And it really represents our long-term goals, business, career, our social dharma and social responsibilities, because it is in Aquarius. It owns Aquarius, the air sign that's about community, innovation, and humanitarianism. So where is that in your chart? Collectively, for all of us, this is an 11th house transit. 11th house being, it's a wealth placement, but it is very much our sangha, our community, and our greater, social structures. So the 5 days before and the 5 days after this goes retrograde on June 30th, it's literally standing still. So when a planet goes retrograde, keep in mind it is the farthest point away from the sun. It is strong for its own energy because it has so much distance from the sun, and it moves very slowly. Saturn moves slowly anyway. It only changes a constellation every 2.5 years. So this is where we're going to feel, I would say, the bulk of the sort of stagnant or really slow energy around this. But Saturn represents our karma, our past actions, and the consequences from those past actions can surface during this time of the retrograde. But we can also be rewarded for our past actions as well. You see, Saturn is the planet of truth or consequences. It is the ruler of karma. I mean, karma, the actions that we have taken, are taking, are called to, so that we learn the lessons that we've come here to learn, to develop, and to grow ourselves. Saturn reminds us of time, and the time that we have and the time that we don't seem to have anymore. It asks us to be mature and to actually do the right thing. And Saturn really shows us the pain, the suffering of being disconnected from the source of our being, because Saturn is one of the most spiritual planets. Saturn trips us up in the world sometimes in order to help us remember that we really are this spiritual being. We really are that energy behind our eyes, and we want to stay connected with Source. So spiritual practice is incredibly important where Saturn is concerned. Through the retrograde time, it can create delays because we're reassessing things, and especially for the change that we're here to create with our social dharma, our social purpose for collective progress. So being this planet of truth or consequences, it just tends to bring the truths up to the surface through circumstances in life, so that we deal with them, or have to deal with them, and so that we really have that choice to learn to come back to truth, the essence of who we are. Saturn also reminds us to not be too hooked into the material world, even though we're called to walk with a foot in both. And so that's why it's always sort of reminding us in ways that this is the world in front of our eyes. We need to live here fully, but we can't take it with us. So we have to pay attention to the world behind our eyes. So when we have a retrograde time, it's like we went hurrying along the way, and now we get an opportunity to go back along our path to see what is really resonating with us, what changes we might want to make. Kind of like when you're planning a long trip, and you know, before you get to go on that long trip, you get to take a shorter trip. And on that shorter trip, you see, oh, this is what it's really like. So you go back and you reassess, you make some new plans, knowing what it is that where you're going and what you really want to be doing. So we really do reevaluate our purpose, and especially our social purpose during this time, career and business. So be open to that. Embrace that energy. It's going to be subtle after we pass this first portion of Saturn retrograde because it's a long transit. So just be open to what wants to reorganize in your life, where you've taken on too much responsibility, where you are maybe not being true to your path or to your higher purpose here. All of that will come to the surface, but it doesn't have to be a heavy transit if you get really curious about it and you're really just willing to release what's not yours to hold, or the path that's not yours to walk. On June 29th, Mercury moves into Cancer till July 19th. It's a pretty quick transit. It's been in Gemini, our amazing intellectual, creative sign with lots of learning and communication and networking, and the sun is still there, and where we're sharing our intellectual ideas, and Mercury happens to own Gemini, so it's been real strong there. And now it moves into Cancer, and in fact, this month it'll actually transit into Leo. I'll talk about that a little later. I'll go chronologically through the update here. So this really brings about our emotional thinking. Mercury is our great communicator. Also, it's the merchant in many ways, really seeing it in the strength of the emotional communicator here in Cancer. And this is very good for our intuitive communication, not so much that intellectual side, using more of that right brain and that heartfelt communication. And we're more focused on caring and compassion for loved ones, for family. Cancer is the natural fourth house of the zodiac. We'll end up with the sun and with Venus in this placement throughout the month. So there's a big highlight on Cancer, wherever Cancer is in your chart. Again, it's the natural fourth house of the zodiac, home and family. But for you, it represents something specific depending on what house it is in your Vedic astrology chart. It's very helpful for dealing with anything that we need to deal with around our family and home. But in order to deal with it, we need to give it more love, more attention. So Cancer is the great nurturer. It's ruled by the moon, the great nurturer. And anything that we want to grow needs nurturing. So our connections with others, with Mercury here, we are more able to sort of listen and be reflective and not just, be super quick in our speech. Tune in, notice how we feel, what emotions need to come forward, and what emotions are, maybe residue from the past that it's just time to let go of and really don't need to be part of the conversation. So the default here will be to speak from your heart. Swallow your mind, bring it down here, and how would your heart respond to the people that you care about and what you care about? It's great for any kind of communication in that modality. So if you speak, social media, whatever, just bring it down to that heart nurturing level. Anything that we're truly nurturing, we're growing, and we're growing it from the roots. We're giving it the care, the attention, the love that it needs in order to grow. So it's also a good time to have those important heartfelt communications. And when you're having those, have an intention, set an intention for the outcome that you want for all concerned, and then go to it from your heart. Jupiter is in Taurus. It's going to be in Taurus all year, but it's moving its nakshatra to Rohini. Now, Jupiter in this placement is very much of our great teacher. In that sign of Taurus, with it's earthy and stable, really focused on resources, our pleasure in life, luxury, financial investments, business and career development, and really personal growth. And personal growth at that level of what can really move you forward in life, what can give you sort of practical, grounded, tangible results. And so it's going to be in Rohini for a while now, in the nakshatra of Rohini. It's just, Rohini is the favorite nakshatra of the moon. It's where the moon spends its most time. So the moon is exalted in Rohini. So this is a very fecund growth area of the chart, very potent for our material growth, but very potent also for our personal growth as well, because it's Jupiter, and Jupiter is the great guru. It's the great teacher. And the teacher's mantra is to know is to grow. And so really growing from that place of knowledge. It will be also aspecting for the whole year, Virgo, where Ketu, the mystic, is. And this is where the eclipse pattern is in Pisces and in Virgo. But with this fifth aspect here, it really, Ketu brings in that intuition, and then Taurus brings in that practicality. So it's really a balance and a mix of both. On July 5th, we have a new moon in Gemini in Punarvasu at 20 degrees. My times are Pacific time. Punarvasu means to make light again, to bring light into our life, to bring light into what it is that we want to grow and start a new cycle around. I will be doing an update for the new moon, so stay tuned for that. This, of course, is always when the sun and the moon are actually together, and this is in the natural third house of the zodiac, which is very much around communication. Punarvasu is very powerful, and it restores our faith, and it brings blessings. And it is really a time of starting a new cycle around resetting our goals, resetting our soul goals, and clarifying our vision on what it is that we do want to create. The star of renewal means to do it again. And the Shakti, the energy here, is to start something new. It gives us the ability to really achieve things. So this is going to be a very powerful start to a new cycle. New moon always starts a new cycle, but this is a very special nakshatra, and it really gives us that courage, that strength to achieve the things that we want to achieve in our life. So stay tuned for that update. Venus transits to Cancer on July 6th, and it'll be there right till the end of the month on the 31st before it moves into Leo. Of course, we've been talking a lot about Cancer, of course, ruled by the great nurturer, and Venus brings in the energy of the connector and also of the artist here. And of course, the water sign is ruled by the moon, and it's super emotional, and it's all about, connection and empathy, also security. Venus is our planet of relationships, of love, of wealth, beauty, luxury, and harmony. And this brings in that energy of being able to really nurture our home, our family, our connections with the people that we care about. And Cancer has this energy also of being very emotional, but we want to manage our emotions so our emotions don't manage us. So what I mean by that is that when we are just getting bounced around by our reactive feelings that turn into emotion, energy and motion, that is very different than if we are choosing how we do want to feel, or dealing with how we are feeling and getting to the root of it if it's not serving us, and releasing what we need to come back to a place of being more intentional about how we are feeling, because that is our vibrational currency. So we can get stuck in emotions in Cancer pretty easily, and this is a place of a lot of energy of empathy, but this has a deeper energy to it, and the deeper energy is devotion. What are we truly devoted to? What do we want to pour our heart into? And family is a place that we tend to be very devoted to, but we want to be devoted in the right way. So it's a time for you to really connect with yourself first. The great connector loves to connect with others, but we need to connect with ourselves so we can connect with the source of our being, and then we can connect with others. So put that focus on your connection, your spiritual practice, to your heart and what you really are devoted to, so that you can come to the devotion in your family and with your loved ones from a place of truth, a place of true connection, instead of getting stuck in maybe in some needy and victim type energy. This is also a place of a lot of creativity, and the artist does very, very well here. And so using your energy for whatever creative expression resonates for you, and especially around your home and whatever Cancer rules for you in your Vedic astrology chart, bringing that creative expression out will enhance and infuse that part of your life with energy. But absolutely, for home, time to beautify our homes. So use this as a time to connect with loved ones. Make sure you've got your alignment, connect with yourself so that you can connect with the source of your being, and then you can bring that out and connect with others. Prioritize your emotional well-being, which also includes your nervous system. Your nervous system is always going to give you the clues to how aligned you are or how off your alignment you are. So if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling, that sort of victim energy, or anxious, or even on the depressed side of things, then you're out of alignment. Then you need to pull back, take care of yourself first. Mars, our great honorable warrior and engineer, is going to be moving into Taurus on July 12th. Now, it's first very much in the honorable warrior energy in Aries until we get to the 12th, mid-month. And this is that energy of, Mars is fired up, being really assertive and empowered and driven, where we can be competitive where we need to, start the new projects we've been ready to, and potentially even take some risks. But then as it moves into the grounded and steady sign of Taurus, it becomes more of the engineer. And this is where Mars calms down and can go more at a slow and steady pace, more focused on sort of practical application of things. Because Mars can be very, very productive and very strong, and can have a lot of perseverance. So the things that you need to focus on for the long run, because remember, Taurus wants to create stability and material stability, which includes a focus on your finances. With this Mars energy here, this is where your discipline pays off. The discipline of the honorable warrior is to stay very true to your spiritual practice and be grounded in your body, which means to be, get your feet on the ground, to exercise, to do your yoga, your martial arts, sweat, go to the gym, whatever it is for you, so that you can burn off that extra energy that can get a little pissy about things. Because if Mars isn't impassioned, it's kind of pissy. And that exercise really helps to sort of peel off that layer of energy so that you can get down and make really good use of this energy. Now, Mars is here with Jupiter, and Jupiter in Taurus is providing very good advice. In fact, in the mythology, Jupiter is Mars's older brother, and will really help to mitigate any issues that sort of pop up with Mars in this placement, because Mars is the martial planet, and sometimes it can get irritable and and create those challenges. But with Jupiter here, that's going to be very, very helpful. It's really a great time to make positive changes in your diet, how you speak. These are all second house matters. The Taurus is the natural second house of the zodiac, which also rules money, by the way, and one of your wealth houses. And especially if you're ready to take a new direction around that. And in fact, just wealth in general, and Taurus rules that, and especially with Jupiter there. I was going to read you a short piece from my book, Your Sacred Wealth Code, around wealth, because there's a part of us that's very focused on wealth through this next year. This has started in May. We're always focused on wealth at some level, but this is my take on it. Wealth is more than money. Wealth is everything you need to materially, spiritually, and emotionally fulfill your purpose here on earth. It's the accumulation of everything we need, want, and desire. More wealth is the perception and belief that we have everything we need, we want, and we desire. In order to be wealthy, we have to feel wealthy. Otherwise, we just have a lot of stuff. And this is the higher meaning of wealth than one we usually encounter. Or depending on your perspective, it might be a foundational meaning. After all, what we see as wealth in others' lives is really only the superficial trappings. We can't see how they feel or are they living on purpose until we look deeper. Often we equate wealth solely to money, but that's actually inaccurate. Money is simply the common energy of exchange in our world, the unit of measurement by which we value the intangible resources of time, energy, security, relationships, love, and freedom. I think it's safe to say that everyone from every walk of life wants to be wealthy. It's a desire that we are born with, one that we nurture as we grow. After all, I don't know anyone who spends their time asking, how can I be poorer? How can I have more lack in my life? And we're all designed for wealth very, very uniquely. That's what the Sacred Wealth Code is all about. Depending on your chart, there's different things that make us feel personally wealthy, and that's not to be compared with anyone else. So this whole transit with Jupiter in Taurus is very helpful to bringing light to this. The Sun transits Cancer July 15th to August 16th, and Mercury and Venus are there as well. So now we've got this very strong combination of planets here in Cancer. Sun being our great leader, our great king, when it comes to being the sun, the bringer of light. And it's time to shine the spotlight again on family. We've talked a lot about Cancer. This is, again, the natural fourth house of the zodiac. So we've got all this energy here, and now in Cancer, now we have the sun there as well. The sun in Cancer is more of a rejuvenative period of time, more introspective, time to sort of lean back before you get ready to move into Leo come mid-August, and really that's the home of the sun, and really shine the light strongly there. It's a time to be more focused on leading from our heart, again, leaning back, renewing ourselves, being a little more introspective. Remember, this is the place of the great nurturer, and paying more attention to others and family and domestic environment, and really enjoy connecting, not having to be the one who's getting all the attention, Leo, not the one in the spotlight so much. So not a time to push your agenda. It's more of a time of self-care, being with those that you love. And, soon enough, Leo's going to come into all its glory in Leo. The sun is going to come into all its glory in Leo. So really use this time as a bit of a lean back and rejuvenate period of time. Mercury, again, our great communicator, is going to transit into Leo on July 19th. It just whizzes right through the sign of Cancer. And this is what Mercury does. It moves super fast, and then it retrogrades 3 times a year. And when it's retrograding, it spends up to 2 months in a sign. And it will retrograde in August in Leo. I'll talk about that in August. But meanwhile, it's going to get pretty fired up here in Leo, the sign of the leader and the king. And it's going to shift from that emotional communication to being very on point, very quick, sharp, sort of out there with communication, confident, optimistic. This is the communicator and leader energy. And can even bring a little bit of dramatic energy, because Leo can be dramatic and, looking for some attention. So it'll give you that bold, enthusiastic expression that you might need. And depending on where Leo is in your chart, it's the natural 5th house of the zodiac, which is a place of creativity, romance. It's mental. It's one of our purpose houses, but it's also, very much rules the mind. It's great for business. If you need to do some speaking, some writing for your work in the world in any way, this is a great time to really be self-expressed and to get yourself out there. So once we move from Cancer and sort of rejuvenate in that energy, then we're ready to come into Leo and really put ourselves out there in a big way. So I encourage you to really be tuning in about that, so when we get to this time mid-month, that the communicator in you is ready. You're just going to want to be careful not to move or speak too quickly. Make sure that you're leading with your heart, and whatever you're speaking about, communicating about, that it is aligned with your vision. And this Leo energy, remember, is a place that we are radiating from the heart. It's fire in the form of like being in a fireplace where it's just radiating that light out there. So it can really enhance your radiance, help you connect with your radiance, and how can that come through your communication. On the 21st of July, we'll have a full moon in Capricorn in Uttara Ashadha. And this will also be Gurreri Purnima, which happens once a year. This is the very sacred day to honor our gurus, our spiritual teachers, our guides. And I will bring you a full update on this. We will have a full moon healing circle, but it really brings this opportunity to confront our fears and establish our emotional boundaries, where we can fully devote ourselves to what holds most important to us for our spiritual and our material growth. Capricorn is a very grounded, material placement as well, but it is ruled by Saturn, our great administrator, which always wants us to, stay very, very true to our path. So Uttara Ashadha is considered the universal star, and it really gives us the courage to triumph over any obstacles that we may have and share our authentic truth. So this is a really great full moon, and it will be in Capricorn opposite Cancer, where we've got all this emotional energy. Capricorn helps us to have some of the emotional boundaries that we need. I will bring you a full moon update on that. I'm so glad that you are here. Feel free to share any of your comments with me. What's this bringing alive for you? Any questions that you might have. If you want to look deeper into your chart and really understand things, then book a reading with me. All my reading links are down below, including the Sacred Wealth Code reading, and the link for the full moon healing circle is there as well. If you haven't subscribed, I so appreciate you doing that and sharing this video. It's my pleasure here to be with you and to serve you, and I will be back soon with the new moon update.